Hey guys, so we're back to the refinery again, and we're going to have a wee look at kind of the things or the mistakes I've made, and things that you shouldn't make, and where you should maybe go, or kind of have a look at mine first and see how we're getting on. So the refinery is just working as normal, collecting all the rubbish. Um, I still don't like this part. I can't find an easy way to go back out and go back in. It would be nice and simple to have a wee link. Anyway, so we've got our cards set up. Now, don't get me wrong, the way that I've set up my cards is not how you should do it. Half of the cards I've got are set up because I was making videos. The other half is because I was testing to see what I was doing. I think in the middle of it all, like the kind of crossover, I do have some cards and I've decided the way that I'm going, but I've wasted a lot basically. So we'll go to the riders because that's kind of more what I'm focusing on at the moment. Now the big problem everyone has is when they go to the card, they see this, for example, this card. As soon as people see the gold card or yellow card, whatever colour you want to call it, and it has a gold part here, they'll, oh, yay, that's a great card. Now look at this card, it's kind of designed upside down. Now if I cross match this with something else, so look at this one, for example, this card, the main talents, the basic attributes is a fighting based card. So in an ideal planet we want fighting based buffs. Now there's 3 buffs here, technically only 2 of them count, because you could either use this as a range based card with squad load or a rider based card with squad load, because the squad is obviously for the squad. If I assign this to riders, which I will do, this one just gets deleted. There's nothing anymore. So it doesn't really matter about this one. So it doesn't matter if you've got 3 gold or whatever, as long as it's what you want. Now in an ideal planet, I would have rider squad attack and then squad attack in this, for example. If this was similar to here, you know, it would be a bonus. Now here's an upside down card. So I've got squad defense 0.8. I mean, it's going to take forever to get this to 2% or whatever it is, and skill damage dealt it will get to like 1 and 1.5 if I get to level 20 or something stupid like that. But look at the buffs. I've got gathering speed, which generally is for everyone, and it's a good speed. I presume this will only, it doesn't kind of, it doesn't say if it's kind of rider or squad or whatever. So I presume it's when that squad is gathering. So if I put it on riders and they're gathering, then they get that boost. But who's going to be gathering will be riders. So I don't know if that's a general one. It doesn't make any logical sense. Well, it will do in a minute. Now I've got 2 absolute garbage things here. So I've got rider attack and infantry squad damage reduction. So theoretically, I can go kind of make this a rider based card and hopefully get other legendary cards that have rider squad attack that I can then use to upgrade. But this one here, although it's a great card to have for a gatherer, it's pretty much garbage for a fighting based team. Now to go back onto that, if I go to something that I've attached, we'll use, here's a good example. So I've got a squad attack and a basic attack, and then I've got rider defense, sorry, infantry squad attack, and damage dealt to zombies. Now, because it's damage dealt to zombies, it's generic, so it's now added, okay, it's going to do it for anyone who's riders. So this infantry one becomes obsolete. So if I look at the buffs, infantry squad attack is not going to be there. Now, if I can't remember which card that was, we'll just put that one. So this one, so we'll see if this adds anything. So the only thing theoretically it's going to add is 0.9 of the attack speed. So if we look, here's the buffs at the moment. It's got no economy ones, and it's got a rider squad attack of 5.6. we add that card, this might change, and it should add that. So we add that buff now. Theoretically, the gathering speed is only for when riders actually gather, which, what's the kind of point? You know, it doesn't make any sense. Now, I can put this on the cars, but then these ones are a waste of time, and these ones are a waste of time. So essentially, that card is pure garbage based on kind of that. Well, saying that, when I say it's garbage, it'll be good for my gatherers, but then these are obsolete, and that's maxed out. I just do nothing with that card anymore. Or I use this to upgrade something else. And we can check the buffs here. It's gave us some gathering speed for riders, and it's put the squad attack up a tiny amount. And it's added, obviously, the skill damage and stuff. So suppose kind of having this buff, unless you had that maxed out at level 20, it's kind of pointless for the rest of them. Anyway, so I'll put that back before I forget it. If I can remember which one it was. So this one? That must be this one. So now we're back to having rider squad attack. Now, I've got here, let's have a look if we can upgrade anything or do anything to actually show you before you go through the process. So my riders, we'll look at my 4 cards. So I've got an attacking base card, and the only thing that really counts to me is the rider squad defense. These 2 are garbage, and they don't count as anything. This one, I've got basic attack damage and squad counter damage. And then technically, the only thing that matters to me is rider squad attack, but that's a bonus because I could use it for killing zombies or the horde defense event or doing rallies or whatever it is. This one becomes obsolete, and I'll never upgrade it at all, because the time that I use 15 cards to then get close to that level becomes pointless. This one, I've got squad attack, basic attack damage, and I've got my rider defense. I still got my zombie buff that I quite like, and then the infantry becomes garbage, and then we're back to that one. We've got counter damage is 1.5, skill damage, and then we've got rider attack. Squad load is garbage, and range squad defense is garbage. So these don't matter. So to look at making these cards any better, I'll go through the upgrade process, because I've gathered a wee bit of stuff for the refinery. So we'll go and upgrade some cards and then get disappointed. So when I started this, I decided to keep doing the vests for a while. It's only been 4 or 5 days or something, so it started, but I think I'll give up after a week because it's just getting a bit boring now. So we'll go to the blacksmith. I've got essentially 16 that I can do. I'll do this crappy one first. I don't have any of the special material, so we're not interested in anything green or blue, but we'll use them for upgrading in a minute. So I've got 16 cards. See what we get. Garbage, green card, garbage, range defense. We'll see what that is in a minute. Another garbage blue card, garbage purple card. See, we are updated, so it should be getting better at some point. Gathering speed. I mean, if I combine all these cards, but I can't do anything. That gathering speed at 14.3, you can only have one vest attached. So this becomes a waste of a card I don't need anymore if I'm using that other one. I could probably sell it and get a couple of dollars or whatever you want to call it in gold. If it's less than 2, it's classed as garbage. Zombie, who cares about that nowadays? Gathering speed, and be good if you could assign 500 vests, but squad load, suppose that's good, but then you lose your gathering speed. But then you could also use squad load if you're going to be attacking shelters. Maybe you could use it to get more of their materials, even though you only get capped. But That's just, why even bother giving you that? I mean, I can upgrade that, but why would I want to upgrade that on a fighter card? I suppose it might be good when you're starting out and things. Another blue garbage. Damage dealt to zombies. I never even looked at it. So we've had 16 cards, and out of them we've got 2 legendary and a few elite, and the rest are kind of garbage. So what I'm going to do first is I'm just going to scroll down the bottom. Sorry, I'm going to dismantle. I'm not even going to bother looking at what they are. I'm just going to get rid of the blue and greens, because I can only upgrade something that's smaller. So I don't want to use a better card to upgrade the blue or green, but there's just zero point in doing it. So we'll get rid of the blues and greens if there was any. So looking at the cards, we've got the ones assigned at the moment, so we'll start at the bottom. So damage to zombies is garbage, gathering bonus is garbage, zombie kill bonus is garbage, range squad attack is garbage. So I'm going to get rid of these 4. They're in order by, I don't know how it sees it. I think it sees it by strength, but it's definitely not by might. Actually, it is by might. So they're ordered by might. It's probably just up and down kind of thing. So I'm going to just get rid of the bottom crowd. Just double check that one. So essentially all I'm wanting is the material to then use for smelting or whatever. Right, so we've got damage to zombies 5.4%. That's no use to me at all. Damage to zombies, squad loads quite good, but I'll see if there's nothing. Gathering speed, rider. See, all these kind of things, if I want to upgrade, here's a perfect example. So I've got 2 exact same cards. So these 2 cards I don't need. Now this card, in the absolutely best case scenario, if I upgrade this card using that, all I do is get that. And I'll show you what I mean. So this is a perfect scenario. So this card is lower than this one. So this card I can manage, smelt, pick the gathering speed, pick the card, and pick this one. When I click confirm, all it's going to do is change my 8% to either 8 or 8.1. But I lose the whole other card. So if I do it, for example, so I've turned that card into 8.1, but the other card's gone. So what's the point? I said, I don't know if there's anything. So here's a good example. I'm going to be getting rid of these cards. I don't care about the extra 50 at the moment. It's good to see it. So here's a good example, and probably the last one I'll do without, don't want to waste any more. But so this card is 4.4, but maybe it has better attributes. So this one is a gathering card. Now I don't need that gathering card, but this one I can maybe turn it into some sort of, I don't know, little buff for maybe getting an extra 2% defense or 2% attack or whatever it is. So this one is 4.4 and this one is 5.4. So I could essentially get rid of this card and take that, whatever that buff is, and maybe get that to this high. So we'll test it. It's easier to see. So when I click this one, I go to manage, go to smelt, I go to damage dealt to zombies. It's going to look through my inventory and find any damage dealt to zombies that's higher than 4.4. It finds this one, it's locked for some reason. Maybe it's meant to be better. So I'll just confirm. Now all I'm going to do, technically that's blue and the other one's purple. I think that's just by the number. Maybe let's just say when it gets to 5 it turns purple. But maybe not true, but I'm not going to bother. So the best case scenario is that 4.4 blue card turns into some colour at 5.4, but it's going to be in between these 2 numbers. But I still lose this whole card. but we're going to get rid of it. Normally I would have dismantled it to get the 50 material, but I'm just doing this so you can see what actually happens. So I'll just smelt it, and it turned that card into 5, and it's still kind of blue. So kind of what's the point? You know, I could have just got rid of the other card. So be very careful when you're doing the cards. This is kind of, or that was a perfect example, because wherever it was, in that example, I wanted to keep the top ones. So all these ones, like steel gathering, if I don't want that, I could maybe use this somewhere. But the only thing I can do is upgrade, kind of, this has to be bigger than something else. Don't know if there is. So I don't know how this will work. So here's a good example. We've got another squad-based card, which is absolute garbage to me. I can dismantle it. If I dismantle, it gives me 50. Now at the moment, that's Rider. That's not a good example actually. So got Rider defense, Rider attack. So I don't have another one. So if that was ranged, and that was ranged, maybe I could have turned that fighter card into blue or something, but it's still garbage. We still didn't want it. It seems to be very high in might for being, so either these are really crap cards. I think what it's done is it's saying that the basic buffs, because they're squad based buffs, they're got higher might, but might doesn't mean anything nowadays. So it's saying categorically that that card is better than that one, but that buff's better. Maybe these are crap because it's got zombie, but just keep an eye on this. You automatically think that these ones are crap because they're lower might, but sometimes these actually are better. If I go to the bag, I don't know want to go to the bag actually. If I go to my equipment, now on infantry, that's a garbage one I've just attached because I had it spare. This one, I mean, infantry squad defense, it's nearly 3%. Why not attach it? This one, I don't use ranged, but it has a ranged squad defense of 3%. So why would I get rid of it when I can add 3% defense? So just because they're blue and purple doesn't automatically mean you get rid of them. Now, back onto that conversation, I don't know if I've got any smaller ones I can do, but I've got any more equipment I can maybe get some dodgy ones. I don't have any to speed up either. If you look at some of the crappier cards, back to the bag, some of the crappier cards, it's probably worthwhile you just, I mean, I've attached them just kind of out of order of what I think they were. Now, what I periodically do is, because I'm never going to be able to go through these, oh, I'll have to check these two new ones. We're never going to be able to go through all these and keep track of them. So I attach the ones that I want and just get rid of the other ones. Now I'm going to upgrade the cards. So I don't have a lot of material, I think. So I've got quite a lot. I can upgrade a couple of cards. So upgrading doesn't really give you a lot. So make sure you're only doing it on the cards that you really want to keep. I'm going to avoid doing it on purple, which you can see I've already done before. And it kind of turned maybe that from 0.4 to 0.6. So kind of, what's the point? You know, it's just a waste. Now, if you're getting to level 20, you may see a difference, but at the beginning, it's pretty garbage. So this card here, I've got these ones. I'm going to use this card. Oh, this is great. It's designed for me. That's garbage. I don't care about. But I might be able to do something with that in a minute. So we'll try and get these stats up a wee bit. So this card, we're going to go to manage. We're going to enhance. Now, if you keep an eye on this bit, this number, I don't know if that does anything, or just simply add a number there, I don't know. But this one's going to not change anything to the basic attack damage, but it is going to add to the counter damage. And I can upgrade it again. This time it's going to add to the basic attack, not to the counter. and then I don't have enough, but I'll just sell one of the, so I'll nip down and sell one of these garbage ones. So squad load, damage dealt to zombies. I've got loads of them, so I'll just dismantle that. Don't know why it's locked, but I think they must lock them when they're over a certain might, or because they're, or maybe because I made that. Oh yeah, that's the one I made, isn't it? So I'm not going to use this range one, so we'll just dismantle that one. Double check that it's the one. I don't like that part as well because you could easily click the wrong one, but I'll just get rid of him, and then we'll go back to the card. So we're back here, we'll go to manage, and then now what we're going to get a wee tiny wee bit more squad damage. Now it doesn't seem a lot, but remember this is for all your riders. So if you're using 5 rider squads, you're getting 1.5% on 5 squads. So that's 7.5% buff in theory because you're adding it to 5 squads. Anyway, right, so the next thing we want to try and do is get this up. But what's the point? Because I'm never going to use it. I mean, psychologically, you're automatically seeing that as green and you're like, oh, I need to get that better. But why? I'm never ever going to use it on infantry. So it's a complete waste of time. So now all I focus on is kind of 1, 2, 3, 4. Now these two, I'll probably never be able to get better than this on these. This one maybe, but I wouldn't want to lose a whole. If I had a 5% card, I wouldn't want to lose 5% attack buff just to get a 0.3 buff, so it's pointless. So essentially this card's maxed out for the specialised attributes, but the only thing I can do is get this number better to get this better, which probably capped me out at like 2.5 or something like that. I don't know if there's not a button to show you that. So we'll have a look at these 2 new cards to see what we got. So they're rated a wee bit higher in might than the other ones. So we've got purple, purple, blue, garbage card, and then we've got blue, green, purple. I kind of dismiss the colours anyway, but we'll look at this one first. I wasn't looking at this, by the way. So looking at this card, it's the same again. You've got a fighter base card, so you've got squad defense and skill damage taken by troop. So essentially a defense based card, and then you get squad attack, which is very good, 3.3% for the whole squad. Well, not just the whole squad, but all the squads. So if I put this on infantry, all my infantry based squads are going to get 3.3% attack boost. The gathering speed is kind of garbage and the squad load is garbage. So this is the only thing, obviously, plus this. So I quite like that card. Don't know where I would use it, but I mean, I'll have a look in a minute to see if it's better for anything else. So this one I quite like because it's a general one. Theoretically, I won't be able to get that much higher, but to get a 3.3% squad attack on your whole platoon, army, whatever you want to call it. Then this one we had. So what do we have here? So we've got, although I like basic attack damage, so it's a field kind of based card that's got garbage for everything. I mean, it's got a zombie kill experience, which is absolute rubbish. You've got gathering speed, which is absolute rubbish. So what can you do with that? Theoretically, I can take one of these two, but then, so it's gathering speed 6.2 and zombie kill 9.9. But I'm kind of, if I look at these cards, see, they're kind of no use for anything that I'm using. That's a bonus. So I've got a gathering speed here of 5%. And what was that one? Gathering speed of 6.2. Now, let's have a look at this card first. If I get rid of it, I can get 100 of these, which, to be honest, you get that about 10 times a day anyway. So if I've got a gathering speed of 6.2% that, and I don't need, I'm not interested in the zombie, and squad attack of 0.6 is a bit rubbish anyway. Nothing else matters. So I could maybe use this to get one of these cards. So I've got a gathering speed here. Maybe you can make this better. I'm keeping this card because I like using it. So let's have a look at this one. Go to manage. We'll go to smell. And then we'll say this gathering speed, we hopefully can add that 6.2. Now we're going to get rid of that card anyway. I don't care about the 100. Now what's very important is you understand that this whole card is gone. I'm losing out on this amazing kill experience, which is a rubbish. The squad attack, I would need to upgrade it 10 times to make it any kind of worthwhile, and the gathering speed is just garbage. Anyway, so I'll get rid of the 100 and upgrade my card. So we'll go on again. So it's going to turn my gathering speed from 5 to anywhere between 5 and 6.2. And remember, we lose that card. Back to the age-old story. So we've got our troops deployed because they're gathering at the moment. So I'll just recall all the troops. So remember that if you've got troops on the field, for example, like riders or something, or you're in a tower or whatever it is, well, I don't actually know if it will work for a tower, but if you've got troops on a field and they're deployed, it's the same as armaments. You can't kind of change them. So we'll go back to here. We go to the car one. We're wanting to update or upgrade him. Go to smelt. So this one, we're going to bin our useless card. I shouldn't be clicking too quick. Right, so we've got the gathering speed at 5%, and we're going to turn this card either the same. The worst case scenario is we're upgrading this, and we're losing that whole card. And it's changed it to 5.9. And the only thing we lost, that card came from the daily stuff anyway. I would have got 100 of the material. So I think that's actually a decent kind of wee upgrade for my wee cars anyway. So we're at up to half an hour. There's no much more I could really say. That's kind of what I periodically do is I'll go to riders and just go to manage on here, go to the smelt part and just individually go through them to see. It's better than trying to work out in your head. I spent ages kind of going through. This way you don't have to do anything. You're just clicking to see is there any cards that I can get rid of. And then you can compare to see. So there's a perfect example. So this one's got a squad load of 2.3 and it wants me to get rid of this card. I mean, to be honest, I probably wouldn't. There's nothing, that squad attack is nowhere worth me getting rid of that squad attack just to increase my squad load. So that's absolute garbage. Manage, smell. Definitely not got nothing better than that one. So I've got an infantry squad attack. So there's a good example of a bad thing here, but I would increase my infantry squad attack and lose that card thinking, yeah, I've increased it. But then that infantry attack, I think that's actually on. I mean, it's not attached to anyone, but I mean, this is a very, like, it's a decent card for everything. Why would I get rid of it just to increase infantry attack on a rider squad that I will never ever use? And then we'll just, well, damage dealt to zombies. You'll probably find that the ones come up a lot. And then back to here. So we'll go to smell. That's definitely not going to get better. That's not going to get better. And this one we're not going to use. So just remember that all your things on here, the only things that matter is what you're attached, what you're assigned to. Don't worry too much about they have to all be the same and all this crap. Concentrate on the top two combining with these two. Like, make sure you're not picking a gatherer one here. For example, like this one. There's no point in you using this on riders just because you've got one good rider buff. Unless it's an amazing buff, then great. But you then lose out on these two. And if you do use this, then make sure you never really upgrade the card, because the card's only going to add to the gathering crap. The only thing you would upgrade is getting rid of the old cards and combining them. Right, I probably confused you more, but as we know, we're all going through the trial and error to find kind of the best way to do things. At the moment, I'm solely focused on, as long as I can get one decent thing, then I'll add to the buffs. But the very, very, very important thing is to make sure that you don't use gathering for this. And the other way around, well, unless this is just a bad example, I've just put this on here for the sake of putting this on here. This is just rubbish. But I'll end up selling this card, or I'm keeping, well, secretly what I'm doing is I'm keeping the card to see if I could maybe upgrade this to then use, I don't know, but if I'm using a tower defense, I could attach that to my infantry so they then have better counter damage, because I'm then using Eddie, etc, etc, etc. So it's trying to find the balance. I've made thousands of mistakes, and I hope this video never confused you too much, but at least you could see kind of how easy it is to make mistakes, and hopefully you don't make the same ones that I have. Right, if you've got any questions, please let us know. I probably won't be able to answer them, but let us know anyway.